You're sitting in your car. The engine is off. The streetlights are casting long, tired shadows across your dashboard. You've been home for 10 minutes, but you haven't moved. You're just staring at the steering wheel. In a moment, you'll open the door. You'll put on that face, the one that says, "I've got this." The one that everyone relies on, the one that knows how to fix the broken things, pay the bills, and hold the family together. But right now, in the heavy silence of this car, you are just so incredibly tired. You are not just long day at work tired. You are carrying the weight of the world for 40 years, tired. If you're listening to this, you're likely a member of the bridge generation. The ones who stand in the middle, holding the hands of aging parents and growing children, while trying to keep your own feet on the ground. Everyone sees you as the rock, the therapist friend, the high achiever who never breaks. To the world, you are a masterclass in resilience. But your nervous system is telling a different story. Inside, there is a hollow space that no amount of achievement can fill. You feel profoundly lonely, even when you're in a crowded room. Because while everyone knows your name, and everyone knows your strength, almost no one knows your exhaustion. You've been performing for so long that you've forgotten what it feels like to be seen. Truly seen, not for what you can do, but for who you are when you have nothing left to give. Society calls you strong, but what they don't see is that your strength is a survival mechanism. It isn't a choice you made because you wanted to. It's a role you were forced into before you were old enough to understand the weight of it. To your developing nervous system, being needed became the only way to feel safe. This didn't start last week or last year. It started decades ago, in a house where you had to grow up too fast. Maybe you were the child who had to manage the unpredictable moods of an adult. Maybe you were the one who had to stay quiet so you wouldn't add to the chaos. You became the Atlas child. You are holding up the sky so that it doesn't crush the people you love. But no one ever stops to ask how your shoulders are doing. In your childhood, you learned a dangerous equation. My value equals my utility. You learned that if you weren't fixing something, or helping someone, or being perfect, then you were invisible, or worse, you were a burden. So you built an armor of hyper-independence. You told yourself, "I'll do it myself. I don't need anyone. I'm fine." But that armor, which saved you on the battlefield of your youth, is now weighing you down in the peace of your adulthood. It's the reason you can't ask for help, even when you're drowning. Because to your nervous system, help feels like a trap. Help feels like a debt you'll have to pay back with interest. So you stay in fight mode. You control every detail. You predict every disaster. You work until your body screams, because you're terrified of what will happen if you stop. You've become the thermostat of your entire life. You aren't just in the room. You are the one reading the temperature of everyone else's emotions. You scan micro-expressions. You monitor the tone of a voice before a sentence is even finished. You adjust yourself, your needs, your volume, your very existence, to keep the room from catching fire. It is a brilliant, beautiful adaptation. It is the reason you are so good at what you do. But it is also the reason you are disintegrating from the inside out. Your brain has been running survival software since 1985 in a world that is trying to offer you rest. But you don't know how to take it. You don't know how to put the sky down. Because you're afraid that if you do, everything will collapse. And for the first time, you're starting to wonder, who is going to catch you? The truth is, even asking that question feels dangerous. Because deep down, you have a quiet, terrifying belief. You believe that if you ever stopped being useful, people would stop loving you. You believe that your worth is entirely dependent on your ability to produce, to protect, and to problem solve. And if you take off the armor, if you expose the exhausted, fragile human underneath, you are terrified they will turn away. So, you keep the fortress locked. You stay in the role of the provider, the listener, the one who never needs anything. But let's look in the mirror for a second. Let's go back to where that fortress was actually built. I want you to think back to when you were very young. Maybe you are standing in the hallway of your childhood home. You are listening to the tension in the room, the arguments, or maybe just the heavy, unpredictable silence. You are watching the adults around you, the people who were supposed to be your safety net, and you realize, with a sinking feeling in your chest, that they are not okay. They are overwhelmed, or absent, or volatile. And in that exact moment, your brilliant, developing brain makes a survival calculation. It says, it is not safe to be a child right now. If I have needs, I will make things worse. If I cry, I will be a burden. So, I will disappear. I will be good. I will be the one who fixes things. You swallowed your own panic. You walked into that room. And you started managing the emotions of the adults around you. You learned to read a sigh from across the house. You learned to anticipate a crisis before it even happened. You became the shock absorber for your entire family, and you were only a child. You locked your own painful, unmet needs in the basement of your mind. But the ghost of that little boy or that little girl still lives in your nervous system. And today, every time someone gets too close, every time someone offers to help, that ghost rattles the pipes. Because your body remembers that relying on others was the most dangerous thing you could possibly do. Your extreme independence is not a personality flaw. Your chronic overthinking is not a bad habit. It is a trauma response. It is the echo of a child who had to predict the unpredictable just to survive the day. Society looks at your exhaustion and tells you to just relax. They tell you to think positive or just stop worrying so much. They throw these empty, sterile phrases at you, completely invalidating the profound weight of what you are carrying. But they don't understand that to your nervous system, letting your guard down feels like stepping off a cliff. You cannot simply think positive when your biology is screaming that the world is unsafe. So, I am not going to tell you to just let it go. Instead, I want to give you permission to finally exhale. You do not need to fix yourself, because you are not broken. You are simply carrying an impossible load, and your body is doing exactly what it was designed to do. It is trying to keep you alive. I want you to take a moment and just silently thank your nervous system. Thank that armor. It was a brilliant adaptation. It was a masterpiece of survival, and it kept you safe when you had absolutely no one else to protect you. It did its job beautifully. But the war is over now. You are an adult. You are sitting in a safe room, or in a parked car, and the threats of your past are no longer standing in front of you. You are surviving a threat that has already passed. You are running outdated survival software in a world that is desperately trying to offer you a place to rest. Healing does not mean you have to tear down your entire fortress today. That is too much to ask of a system that is already so tired. Healing is just the quiet, terrifying choice to slowly stop fighting. It is the willingness to let the armor soften, just a little bit, around the edges. Maybe, just for today, you don't have to carry the whole sky. Maybe you can let just one star fall, and realize that the world does not end. Maybe you can leave the drawbridge lowered, just a few inches, for one person who has proven they are safe. You are allowed to be tired. You are allowed to not know the answer. You are allowed to let someone else drive the car for a while. It will feel profoundly uncomfortable at first. But underneath that discomfort is the peace you have been craving your entire life. You have spent decades holding everyone else together. It is time to let yourself unravel. It is time to be held. If you made it this far into the video, I want you to know that I see you. I make these videos for people exactly like us. The ones who are deeply tired, but still trying. The ones who carry the heavy things in silence. If this resonated with you, if this felt like someone finally looked past your mask and saw the real you, please subscribe to the channel and leave a comment below. You don't have to write a novel. Just leave a single word, or tell me what part of your armor feels the heaviest right now. Because when you share your truth here, you remind someone else reading the comments that they are not standing in the dark alone. You are safe here. Take a deep breath. You can turn the engine off now.